gentlemen. With a round of applause, let's put our hands together as we make welcome up on stage for his session, Comrade Isa Aremu MNI. Let's keep clapping till he gets here. Let's keep clapping till he gets here. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Your Excellency, the former governor of Edo State, our dear father, who I've no doubt that maybe he will join us, Chief Oyegun, through the Director General of the Commission, Ambassador Joe Keshi, who I also know that is the current president of Association of Retired Ambassadors of Nigeria, and his amiable wife, our big sister. Talking of teamwork, I think Ambassador Keshi have shown that for a home to be stable, you have to have teamwork with your lovely spouse. I think through the Director General, I want to convey my greetings to the excellencies of the 6 states that make up the Commission. I also want to appreciate the head of service of Edo State, our host, head of service, Dr. Anthony Okuboa, who truly was very professorial, and he actually did pastoral delivery today. I was conveyed to my co-DG, the DG of the academy, that if Almighty Allah asks me why did I not go for Jumat prayer today, I would say that I was captivated by Professor Anthony Okuboa. Please, a round of applause for him in absentia. He truly spoke from the heart. He was very enthusiastic. I mean, that's the way to really make a difference. If we have to do proper teamwork, we need to be passionate about what we're doing. And I can read that passion in Dr. Anthony. The only thing I also joked about as I was sitting down there was that I think I had him he quoted almost twice the United Nations Secretary General, Antonio Guterres, about the importance of digitalization for good governance. And my takeaway from there is that with digitalization, we need to make governance more efficient so that we can improve service delivery. And I bear witness that from its presentation, the difference is clear in Edo State, where we are practicing e-governance. And I gather from this conference too that we are really having paperless retreat, more or less. But I expect his presentation to also be paperless. But his presentation is paperful. The only thing is that we didn't see the papers, but they were visibly displayed for almost 2 hours. And being a comrade, coming from tradition of long talk, I said if we are to be period of the Cold War, I think Ambassador Keshi will bear witness to with almost competed with Fidel Castro in log delivery. But I thought that if we are paperless, I think we should be a bit as much as brief as possible. I also wanted to ask him, during the question and answer session, but maybe when it comes, we can share views on that. Computer literacy is very, very important, and I want to appreciate Edo for the wonderful job we're doing. But when I also had the revelation from him that the new challenge we have in Edo now is that a good number of our workers are also relocated. Chapa. Maybe we need to ask the question, are we building capacity so that we also inadvertently encouraging voluntary slavery in 2024? I think we need to think about that, because it's not just that we train them, we should also learn to retain them so that they can add value to Edo State and, of course, the South region. Let me appreciate my dear sister, the pioneer Director General of the most dynamic, the most forward-looking academy dedicated to development training, capacity building for the workers in Edo. And I'm proud that the pioneer DG is a woman. We have been saying in the labor movement that women are great. I can see that with Palm Checks, head of service, most of you don't live on minimum wage, so you are not part of the unions. Because if I were to be in a labor circle, when I say women are great, the chorus will be no controversy. Women are great. And you can see the way she turned us around from ground zero for us to be putting up structures during that brainstorming session. So I think I just want to adopt all the existing recognitions and to convey greetings from the management and staff of Michael Imodu National Institute for Labor Studies, Ilorin. And to say that it's quite a pleasure for me to be here. I think there are a few things that we share in common. That I can say that we share in common with Institute as well as John Oyegun Public Service Academy. We are tasked with the responsibility to build capacity for workers or for civil servants through regular training. The difference is maybe is in the details. JobSA, I think, concentrate more in building capacity on public finance, public management. For key labor actors, namely workers and their unions, employers of labor, government officials, on how to make the world of work harmonious, peaceful. Once you gather workers around, including the 12,000 you have trained now in computer education, and I was saying so the head of service, I think another round of applause for you because you've done very well. But don't underrate the capacity of those that you have just trained. They'll be very grateful you gave them computer. But very soon they will ask for other things, including the right to be promoted, the right to better pay. And if you don't manage them very well, things may get out of hand, lead to dispute. Our institute is meant to build capacity for the workers, their unions, employers of labor, for now to apprehend dispute in the world of work, how to do collective bargaining, how to engage in social dialogue, how to have sense of compromise instead of resorting to strikes, lockout, as the case may be, on the part of the employers of labor. And even you need to even go on strike, you can do strike in a scientific manner. It's only in Nigeria that we have total and indefinite strikes that can last for 3 months. In the case of the universities, you know better. I think the latest calculation somebody did was that since 1999, as we had gone on strike for almost if you calculate the number of days that university have been shut down, that's enough to produce some graduates. I think the missing link there is the skills and capacity to resolve conflict. So the mandate of our institute, and I've shared this with the DG, and I think now with the head of service. I think together with JobSA, we leverage on the value that you can add to also empower workers through your specialized areas of public administration and all those subjects you deal with, while we will be able to also complement you in the areas of how to handle labor management relations, labor government relations. But when I also had the testimony from one of my comrades, it's very rare for comrades to be so generous, to commend government for very good job in all the other states of the corporation. And I was hearing of a Benin declaration. I think part of this capacity building should include how government labor can have proper engagement in a way that there will be a peaceful atmosphere for industrial development. So I think we should make that declaration to be much more holistic. So, Your Excellency, the DG, we're happy through you that we escalate the memorandum of understanding between my institute, JobSA, in a way that the governors of all the states, beyond what JobSA is doing, she also see the need to do regular training for your workers and their unions on how to handle labor issues in a way that what will be conducive for for I think another thing we share together with institutions are also named after the great Michael Imodu, of course, is number one labor man. He was and he still was. He was the first to first of all fight for the workers in the railway sector. He was the pioneer president of National Union of Railwaymen. He actually led the most famous strikes in 1946 over the high cost of living. And that struggle laid the foundation for a series of activities, which together with the National Assembly, Abat Macaulay, also propelled them to actually fight for independence for Nigeria. And 2005, he actually lived for 103 years. And he came from, I think, Onwa Division, Ora, in Edo North. We are planning to celebrate his 22nd birthday, September this year, by the Institute. I think I will extend the invitation to JobSA so that we can appreciate and posthumously document the struggle for decent work, for a fairer deal for the workers of Nigeria. And in any case, what we fought over, the cost of living is exactly what we are going through now. Maybe we need to learn on how to handle the current challenges in a way that it doesn't get out of hand, as it was during this period. Of course, we also know Chief John Odige Oyegun. The academy is named after him. And he was the former governor. Also an accomplished public servant to come from Africa. Former PAMSEC of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I think there is no better person to deserve the honor of this pioneer academic like him. So I think it's self-evident that we need to work together, because even though Michael Imodu's Institute is located in Ilorin, where I come from, but the real banner, the real name, the real signature, originally came from Edo. In fact, it was in 1992 that the former military president, Babangida, renamed it after him. It used to be National Institute for Labor Studies. And as I've said, our mandate is self-explained. But before I quickly reflect on the topic given to me, let me also recognize my fellow members of National Institute. I can see there were only 3 here. I can see the head of service of Baensa, my dear sister. Please, you have to appreciate him. It's not easy to carry good bags. Of course, I think I saw that of Delta. Where is he? Oh, it's not here. Okay. Our motto is towards a better society. And one of the reasons why I have to come here is that I bear witness that the mandate of the Commission is to build a better South-South region. I've been directed to speak on how to build real high performing team for development. The challenge of being directed is that you are expected to operate with the framework of given. But after listening to the testimony or responses to the advice of Professor Ola Oloko, that we need to be, that it's important that we also be wary of just operating within the box. We need to think outside the box. Truly, I've been directed, and I think that's very courageous for you to direct a comrade, and also comrade DG, for that matter. But I've decided to make my brief intervention a little bit more interactive and possibly much more to set up thinking on the way to answer questions for ourselves. I think if you go with the slide, I'm not sure how you have it there, but let me turn back to my technology here. Yeah. Well, I think on the slide, you can see at the heart of development is the public service. And when you look at it historically, the public service has been the real engine of development worldwide. Sector to motivate, to encourage productivity. They were actually copied from the public sector. She reminded us today that with the victory of is it Kemal Osama, we need to get used to this name, of the new Prime Minister of UK. The first thing he says that he's going to return governance for public service. I think I'm raising this point that all of us here must know that, as Pam said, as head of service, we are supposed to be the real key drivers of development, not just within this region, but in the nation as a whole. I watched the president yesterday inaugurating the new economic team, talking of team. And honestly speaking, I searched in vain. I couldn't see anybody who could keep memory, institutional memory. Nobody from the public sector. And I was wondering, how can those that we need to regulate, we need to manage, the operators are the ones about to manage us? I think there's already conflict of interest. And if I want to add interest in conflict, to put a Lumelu Aliko and Co to address the issue of bringing down prices. I hope this is off record. You know, I'm a DG now, so I can't talk easily. That's like repeating the mistakes you have made with Central Bank, in which you put bankers to become regulators. And when my friend became the governor of CBN, I don't know his status now, that number 14, 16th emir of is the only one that carries two when he became the trend, maybe about it, that we need to think of getting governor CBN from within, because he came from First Bank, and there's no doubt that the best of any human being will be haunted by your own. And you can see the way the controversy that surrounded some of the reforms he carried out with other bankers. But now we perfected it later with, again, my dear friend, but that's a different story. All what I'm saying here is that I think the public service, civil servant have to wake up, to take the space, demand for our rights. I don't see how we can be engine of growth, engine of development, or the background for development has been initiated here. When we are also onlookers, we don't really push the way we should. But the point is that if South-South region will make a difference, we can't ignore the role of permanent secretaries, of directors, of wonderful men and women that are here, who have all the skills and the knowledge. When I had some of you introducing yourself, it's amazing. PhD. I do test my BP here because I have enough doctors. But I realized that most of you are PhD holders. So I think we need to also make the push. And that means that I don't know how, Your Excellency, the Ambassador, how this will be done. But I think it is clear that whoever becomes the head of service, become the PAMSEC, must know that you must also be political. You don't need to be partisan, but you need to be. And what is politics about? Prepare for contestation to make your voice known. You must be able to assert yourself, and there are differences of doing so depending on you. You need to learn that skill. You can raise memo, you can quietly persuade, you can convince. There are many, but we can't be onlookers. Well, where we are today, where you also know the approach to reforms. I strongly believe Nigeria needs reforms. In fact, Nigeria needs revolution in many respects, not just reforms, transformation. I know I came from that tradition. When you left, when you were not around, I was saying that if it were to be during the period I was in labor movement, given the passion with which you spoke, we can make you General Secretary of one of our, because you are really eager to digitalize, to transform. We need that. We need that passion. We need changes. But how do you carry out reforms? I think that's where the civil service can assist political leaders. Because you have seen it through. We've gone through this process. From the period of National Development Plan, we moved to structural adjustment program, in which we had a lot of debate. At the end of the day, we removed subsidy, we devalue currency. Now we're back to it in a different way. It is the public service that has the memory to take stock of the impact of this process. So I think, civil servant, I just want to speak from the heart to say that we need to be more assertive, because the consequences are, they are too much for us to bear. And when I listen to Dr. Anthony, Dr. Anthony, the head of service, I can see that I do have shown that reforms like space reform. I can see the way you move from you move to e-governance, to paperless governance. You consulted, you had rounds of consultation, you gave notice. It's a complete departure that you say one day, if the governor wanted, will have just say, Papers are gone. Papers are gone. And don't quote me on this. And then only for us to return to managing the mess. So what I'm trying to say is that we can't just say, let's look at what the political leaders are doing when we can guide them, because that's what we are paid to do. So all I want to say, if you can see the way I'm going, is that I think you can move down the slide. Maybe this will guide me more. Is that when you talk of high-performing teams, and I'm not going to give you any definitions, so much for that. I mean, most of you should give us definitions on that. But all I want to do is to fire your imagination that we can have framework, a kind of tools of analysis to determine what we mean by high-performing teams. And I talk of 6 Ws, if you put it that way. So we need to have, why do we need a team? And again, from the exercise we carry out today, it is clear that we need a team to drive reforms, to meet the target given to us. When we are doing that exercise, our task is that to see the kind of structures that we can put. How many groups do we have now? I think 6. Which one we have the best, the highest structure? And in the case of the commission, I think the challenge of the commission is to make South-South to be region for economic development. And possibly the most developed regions of the Federation. So if you have that goal, I think we can't do it alone. It is clear that's the goal. And who are the people that will be part of these high-performing teams? Of course, it is clear that we are going to be the ones. And here, of course, the key drivers are the governors. They are all the supporting staff, which include all of you that are here. Where are we doing so? Of course, it's in our region, and anything that happens, if South-South works, Nigeria is working, and Africa is working. Of course, when? I guess we ought to have started carrying out this development since yesterday, or since last year, but I think it's now. I think as somebody says, your own money is where you wake up. And now I'm happy that we conceived this commission in 1999, I'm very sure, but it has taken off 2010 effectively. But that's still quite remarkable. That comes to almost about 15 years now. Major changes normally take place within a decade. So which means we are already behind schedule in meeting our target. But it's never late, and that's why the academy is also driving this process by building capacity for the workforce within the region. And how do we get the team to work? Of course, since the past 2 days. And honestly speaking, there's nothing we can do alone on our own. The Sustainable Development Goals by United Nations, I think there are 17 goals. Eradicate poverty, eradicate hunger. I think Africans, we know how to sign into all these goals. Before then, we had the Millennium Development Goal of 2015. I think that helps us. I could collect, there was a time we used to talk of year 2000, there will be water for all, light for all, housing for even those who had housing before 2000, most of them have lost their houses, and they can't replace them. Then later on, I think we have vision process. I could collect vision 2030. 2010. But it came to pass on that. But what is unique about United Nations 2030 Sustainable Development Goals is that United Nations realizes that the other 16 goals cannot be achieved without the last one. That's the 17th goal, which says that we cannot put an end to poverty. We can't promote innovation and industry. I think that's goal 7 or 8. All the other goals cannot work until we leverage resources together. And that's the one dealing with partnership. And I think the basic Commission is already doing that very well. And I think what is taking place in South is consistent with the vision of United Nations. That when they do leverages with Bayelsa, with rivers, cross river, we can put all our resources together to make a difference. One of the books I like reading very well, I have a book, Leadership Qualities of Jesus Christ. Even though I'm an allergy. But whoever is a Muslim who doesn't recognize the prophecy of Jesus Christ is not a Muslim. Because the story is the same. You take Jesus Christ, he was with his disciples. I think there's about 11 of them. Was it 12? Okay, that makes a difference. You're a Christian, I'm not one. Then the Peter the Baptist. I think there's one that was supposed to be, when he said follow me, the one he said you should follow him. It should be Peter. He wasn't a consequential, disciple, but he chose him. And I think another fellow like that, I was reading something which shows that the prophecy of Jesus Christ couldn't have been possible without his team. So team is central. With some disciples. So there's nothing we can do on our own unless we work as a team. So all I want to say quickly is that definition doesn't say much, but it's already here, and I'm going to make. There's another paper which I want to say here is that we're already working as a team here, coming together to see how we can build capacity for the region, through the academy. And this means that while with high-performing teams very desirable, I think you can go down a little bit and you see it. Go down. Wait. No, go up a little bit more. Up. No. Okay. Up more. I think there are some quotable quotes I just want to refer to. That Henry Ford, you can see this, says that coming together is a beginning. Keeping together is progress. Working together is a success. Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed people can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has. And in our own little way, we're already changing the world here. I used to know of Abuja Declaration. I used to know of Ambassador, remind us of some of those declarations. Global One, Camp David Declaration. Now we have Benin Declaration. And there are small things, but we are making some little progress. So go down. I'm just trying to underscore the importance of it. And as I said, the basic commission is already cultivating a high-performing team. So we don't need to be. What we are looking for in Sokoto is actually in our pocket. Instead of looking for definitions and also according to what we're already high-performing. you know, and honestly, I've attended many retreats. You know, this is the only one that seems to have captured my imagination. You know, I was protesting when, why this month? And talking of high performing team, I think, Madam, you have very good team. You know, especially Desmond is a bit, I nearly accuse him of being a slave driver. You know, he called me, he said, no, sir, I've been asked to bring you, to do what? How many days program? You know, they want me to witness the opening ceremony. I said, I have office to run, I have a district to run. He said, no, we just have to. For me, persuaded me in a way that I had to come in on Thursday. And I thought I would just come in and then make sure that you have a panel of discussions that I can just join and give my thoughts. But now I've sat down to learn so much. And I think if you are giving certificates, I may have to, so that I can formalize my PhD, which you gave me, which I never asked for. So what I'm saying here is that we're already making some difference. And I think for the Brexit Commission, it is clear that the existing centralized nature of the federation cannot deliver the kind of prosperity that we want. And we can see the results so far. Poverty is getting worse. So if we can, as much as possible, decentralize economic activities, take development back to the region, without necessarily returning to the old regions. Because again, there's a lot of debate about restructuring. You know that some people are so nostalgic about the past, and they talk of Western region, Eastern region, and God knows which region. I don't think that is possible. That's no more possible. The existing structures have come to stay, and possibly we may even have to expand it further, more states, even though that raises a lot of controversy. But we can make do with what we already have, as the case may be. And that also requires team spirit to get it done. So I'm happy recently when federal government says some key government departments should return to Lagos, where they can be. And I think the same thing should apply to the region. Let the oil corporation, all the oil companies, even NNPC should be in this region. What are they doing in Abuja? This is where, all the subsidiaries, they also be here. So I think it would be nice that Brexit lead this campaign very well, as much as possible. Please go down a little bit more. I need to quickly round up. So, as I was trying to say, we can see how we have blended different interests, different orientation, different personality, different opinions, different schedules. That's the beauty of teamwork. And with you put me group one, and I was shocked. I thought what I do better is advocacy, but I can see that I can also be a builder. And that becomes, and that taxes my patience very well. In fact, I nearly protested. I said, this woman, you're engaging in disrupting our, not only that, you assign numbers, and you dare to do that. You separated, you separated ambassador from madam. But I can see the wisdom in your, creative destruction. Maybe that makes sense. That the group madam belongs to actually won the prize. She must have been behind it. So that tells you how the teamwork should be. I mean, we can work together, and I'm so impressed, that within the 15 minutes, we could be so creative. Now imagine what we can do. We can do this 15 minutes, what we can do within a year, if we can implement those laudable objectives of Brexit. Go down quickly, because I'll soon be running up. This self-explained, make us be more productive, even in conflict management. You know, because once people get close and they work together, they understand each other better. And we can pursue bigger goals. Go down, go down, go down. I don't think I want to. I don't have the capacity to reach like my senior advocate to be. Of course, teamwork can also help us to infuse richer and more value-adding information. You know, it can help us to raise confidence, courage between the team. So, I mean, we can't overemphasize the benefit of teamwork. Go down, play. But who are the real team players? Maybe these are the few points I just want to add. And I think I was asking who constitutes the team. I think all of us have to make up the team, and I think we should have open mind to make sure that our team is more inclusive as much as possible. As the DG of Minils, when I got my appointment, you know, and I returned back home, I never believed I'll go and work at home, even though I served on the governing board of that institute before from the labor, because the governing board is tripartite, made of workers, employers of labor and government, and I also represented the NSC. But I discovered the level of divisions, you know, directors at each other's throat. Everybody had his or a corner. You know, we're a training institute, but we also do research. There are researchers. Trainers don't want to relate with researchers. Of course, those who are not me, they fight with trainers because they think trainers are more privileged, they move around. Even within the trainers. It was when I got there, I learned that trainers can hijack each other's program. They hijack. You know, but I need to, you know, impress on them that they need to work together. You know, and that requires proper mix. At times we can be so close but so far away by our attitude. So I think to get it done, we should have open mind to have very good mix for our high-performing team. And I've seen it even at the institute. When I came in, I tried to put a plan in place because it's important. When you talk of what will the team relate to, there should be strategic plan. And I'm happy, President Commission, you have your plan, roadmap. Again, round of applause, initiated a national, state development plan. I think for up to 30 years. And I think it's important. I don't know how you are going to get this to be sustainable. Possibly you need to legislate it. I don't know how. But as you have also told us, law can be changed. But law can only be changed if the citizens are snoring. We need to be literate on now the process of law is being made. First reading, second reading. We need to show more interest, you know, in what is going on. Because the bane of Nigeria is lack of sustainable and lack of team. Let me put it that way. Ambassador, I will just quickly, when you reminded us of election today in UK, I quickly tried to check what would be the attitude of the Labour Party Prime Minister to Brexit. And it's very interesting. You know, despite the fact that Kramer, I think that's his name, as they are not going to change, they are not going to pull out of Brexit. It's out to make Brexit not like us here, in which we do have a basic way to build consensus. And I think Nigeria cannot develop the way we are going with this kind of politics of attrition. Winner takes all, no common share commitment. You know. So I'm happy that I know you have a development plan, but I think you should also mainstream it within the region. I think it would be nice that His Excellencies come together. You can escalate that, not to just be a do affair to all. For the entire region, you know, at least harmonize, because every state must reflect what their own peculiarity. But the bottom line is that if you fail to plan, you're actually planning to fail. Fantastic. That would be a very good idea. So, but as I was saying, let our team be inclusive. And I saw my comrade who spoke from the floor here. But I discovered that he is not a participant based on his union status. Am I communicating? I think I would like to advise all the PAMSEC here, head of service, that especially Edo, you've done very well to engage with labor, but formalize it. And I think you said something like that every policy you want to initiate, you bring them on board, but institutionalize the relationship. Let labor be part of the process, the team from day one. Let them hear their views, from within, rather than for them to come out later to block policies, that they don't agree with. Again, let there be gender mix very well. For me, no committee works in my office as a DG if it's all male affair. There should be a gender mix. Because women bring special perspective. When men can say fire for fire, women can say water for fire. Although there are also strong women. Margaret Thatcher, who took milk out of. But the point I'm raising here is the best practice now, that a team is not complete unless you address the issue of gender. Again, but let's be careful what we mean by gender. Not gender as determined by EU. Gender that will reflect our values here. Then the youth will take them along. People living with disabilities, I haven't seen anyone here, but I think cautiously we need to also take them along. I think I don't know the figure now. We have about 17 million of people who are living with different kind of challenges. We can't exclude them from this very good job that we are doing. I think quickly, let me just round up. Go to the last slide. I don't have the capacity. You've taken over as a comrade. You talk as if you don't pay for what? 2 hours, so you deliver that. Your people. Excellent. But let me quickly recap. I need to go to the last slide. The last one, I think. The last one. Yeah. So I just want to reflect on these 4 or 5 points I put on the board to say that, high-performing team assume that we also have highly motivated civil servants. And the question I'm asking here is that we can't make demand on civil servants if their jobs are not secured, if they are not well motivated. And honestly speaking, what I've seen now, going to work in public service, I think Nigerian civil servants are miracle workers. Poorly paid, and yet with a lot of expectations on what they should live on. I think we must address the crisis of compensation in the public sector. And I'm happy to hear from Edo that you started on minimum wage, even though I'm not sure whether that has gone down the ladder, consequential adjustments. But minimum wage is not the same thing as living wage. Even me, as a DG, sincerely speaking, as a young graduate, working in late 80s, I was earning I started with 500 naira per month. Later it was raised to about 800 naira. And that's almost about $1,400. If you convert it today, the point I'm raising here is that given the microeconomic stability there, inflation almost zero, not just single digit, zero. Food inflation, you never knew that. I was giving car loan, I was not eager to draw on the car, because there was no attraction, there was public transport. Then I was more economically secure than now as a DG. Look how much am I being paid? It's incredible. And yet, we want us to be, not to be corruptible, not to look at any other side. And every time I move, if I get to the airport now, my people are there. Comrades, your voice are here. Even on Monday, they say happy weekend. Monday. And if comrade doesn't drop anything, you're your own. They just say this comrade has joined them, even though I have nothing to. So what I'm saying here is that ILO talks of decent work. Decent work is the work that takes any worker out of poverty. The kind of work we have now takes workers down to poverty. That's not the best. So we need conversation along that line. And I think, again, top civil servant like you must be bold enough to articulate it, to help the political office holders. You know, what money you pay workers, you know, it's not meant to be taken to Dubai or abroad. It's to turn the economy of the state runs. They buy basic goods and services. It's even smart economics. You can have wage-led economic recovery. You know, you can reflate the economy by paying more salaries. Again, I just had 2.1 trillion, 2.1 trillion, I think yesterday or during the week, with the president has announced. And when I heard the way they allocated the money, again, I need to be careful. I'm no more a labor leader. What I'm saying is that the trillions of naira is to pay. It's better you pay your workforce. You pay your pension. I'm sure what they pay you, assuming they are even paid as a Wendy, rather than for you to allocate something about 250 billion, so and so, you know, this. And then the same people you pay to are the one part of the economic team. You know, you don't reflate the economy like that. You are deflating with it. And you are really undermining it. Because, so, again, I think all of us should take this challenge on our own because it affects us. Then work ethics. If we are well paid, well motivated, how productive are we? You know, I hope the way I've seen you here, productive, punctual, stable is the way I will see you when I go to your secretariat. Because again, the image of public service is not really the best. You know, I've seen it since I resumed in Mineros. If I'm at home, I get to office every day, 10 minutes to 8 in the morning. You know, coming from private sector, I have to, I mean, not close to 4, 5. You know, as if I'm my supporting staff, they become 10, 11. And when I was asking questions, this comrade says, which one you take? Although by the time they ran the numbers for me, I kept quiet. He said, comrade, if you come every day, we are spending 2,000 naira per day on transport. If you come on time, I mean, our pay is low, you know. But that cannot be an excuse. What I'm saying here is that if there is minimum wage, there should be minimum productivity. The only way you guarantee pay is when we are productive, we are working very well. Then I've said so. Civil servantship, political, what I mean is that know what is going on in your environment, have the knowledge. In fact, you should know the political economy of your region. Any civil servant that is not politically literate is a potential, I don't know how to put it, you won't be helpful to the region. You have to know the vision of your governor, of your government, own the process without being partisan, you know, because governors will always go, but the service will remain. But you need to give your commitment and loyalty to whoever is in power once the policies are clear and well put to it. Then the last one, I think is that teamwork, fine. We put many things in place, but I strongly believe that we must also have proper knowledge on how to manage relationship in the world of work. And I think I said so in my opening remark. And most of the conflicts we have are avoidable, preventable. I just had the news that the non-academic staff union, including the senior staff, I think that's SANU. 2 of them, they are planning to go on strike. They've soon done tools, you know, and for on issues that are avoidable, preventable. Because why will you, on the one hand, give concession to the academic staff and then their supporting staff, you don't concede to them, or you've considered you refuse to pay. They call for meetings, they write to you, you don't reply. I had also stories this morning on TV. Again, most of our officials, they lack the skills on how to handle labor relations. And then some of the strikes we have are purely avoidable. Even the university too. You know, and now University of Benin now is so the principle is the same. Unionism is the same as students. You need to have a way to manage them. Even though what takes place in Benin, I think, also raises the crisis of the economy. When the university is spending from 80 million or so to 250 million on 280, and yet why would they get that kind of money from? I think there is real disconnect going on. So there's nothing you can do, and there's no way university can even sustain that, to spend that kind of money. So they try to rationalize, but the challenge is how do you handle the students in a way that they don't go to the streets? Again, even the students themselves need to be capacitated to know how to do unionism. The kind of unionism I see in the university today, I was shocked. That's not the kind I did when I was in university. I went to see the vice chancellor of what to do some MOU for training. And then I said, comrade, I will bring my student union leaders to come and greet you. And they came in. I saw the president. He came with some 4 baskets. He said, our senior comrade. I said, this is my chief of staff. This is my NSA. They don't reproduce. I said, is that unionism or... So I think we need some basic training. The point I'm raising, I think we need to improve on knowledge on labor market, and it's a specialized field. Labor market is specialized, just like capital markets. Even the minimum wage, I feel so embarrassed the way we're handling this. It shows lack of skill or lack of this national minimum wage negotiation we have carried out in this country. So we are very rich in this tradition. We started in 1981. Britain joined 1989. Have to concede. We started 81. The first one was 125 naira under Assassin money, and that comes to about $250 at 81. Then to 250. Then when Obasanjo came back year 2000, we raised it to 5,500. I think federal was paying 7,500. Then under Jonathan, we raised it to 18. He did a very good job. Then later to 30,000 under Buhari. So we have rich tradition in this, in which we could negotiate on time, because time is of essence. But I'm surprised the way this is becoming like cancer in our hands. Now, going at 30,000. I mean, it's just about less than $40. And yet I don't know what the offer will be, but whatever we want to do, we should do it on time. Without it getting out of, and if care is not taken, labor may be on the road again. Again, it's lack of knowledge on how to manage relations. And that's why it's Joseph and Minems. I think we need to work together. As I've said, we leverage your strong point. You are very strong in public administration. And I can see, in fact, you are strong in many things. This state of the art I'm seeing here, when you come to Makeni, the difference is clear. Because you have to come on time. The entire ministry is poorly funded. Okay. But we can leverage on that such that we can bring our training here, our workers, because I even use one of your halls to say my prayer here, which means it's so relaxed that angels may be there. So I think the way to go is teamwork, partnership.
Another beautiful round of applause for our speaker this afternoon. So at this point, we will just make a presentation.
Yes, sir. Beloved comrade, on behalf of the government of Edo State, on behalf of the Press Commission, on behalf of DG and the team JUPSA, I want to present this to you in appreciation of you having to come all the way from Loring and delivering for us a wonderful lecture. Thank you and God bless you.
A very good afternoon, and thank you all for your patience. We are almost done, but we did declare when the heads of state and myself, we had a conversation on how we can move forward. And so we put this on paper, and we thought that this would be our declaration coming out of this Benin retreat. And so I'll just read to you, the Brave States Heads of Service agreed on the following commitments. Number one, to encourage digital literacy of the region's workforce and facilitate the digitalization of the region's civil and public service, ensuring that by December 31st, 2027, the service would have adopted paperless operations. Two, commit to by ensuring that 50% of all civil and public servants in the Brave States are trained in business skills or have attended classes. We also commit to leveraging the John Oyegu Public Service Academy in Edo State, as well as other centers both nationally and internationally. Improve staff motivation through improved workforce, through improved work environment, competitive wages and other incentives to boost retention and reduce anti-intellectualism in the service. All public service in the region should have functional and robust websites before June 30th, 2025. Leverage each other's strengths through collaboration to promote peer review and learning across the region. Create a robust performance management with clear key performance indicators. Embedded in this will be a robust reward and consequence management system. 7, drive service-wide innovation across the region by introducing an innovative challenge for civil and public service that promotes critical thinking, problem solving, teamwork, collaboration, and creativity across the region by December 31st, 2027. And this is done today at Benin, Edo State, Benin City, this day, February 5th, July 2024.
Share.
Okay, we've come to the end, and our heads of service would make their own closing remarks to share and talk to us what they have experienced and gained as we come to the end of the retreat. So I start from, if you look, anytime we organize the Brace event, we always start from the number one, and the number one is Bayelsa. So Bayelsa, madam, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. The retreat has been a very worthwhile retreat. We have learned so much. I have learned. Sharing experiences, it has been worthwhile and very interesting. And from what we have agreed to do from here going forward, I am sure that by the time I get back and sell it to my principal, he'll also buy into it. Because just as we acknowledge, the civil service is very, very important. And I'm very sure that based on the three basic things we have agreed, innovation, transparency, and capacity building, we're going to improve on ours in Bayelsa State. On this, I will say thank you very much, DG of Brace Commission and Edo State Government.
Rivers.
Thank you, Ambassador, for this opportunity. For us in Rivers, we appreciate this opportunity to be here in Edo State. We appreciate the opportunity to be here to be part of this making of retreat, one of its kind. And we have learned a lot. The team that I came with, we have learned a lot. And I think that the Benin Declaration and key commitments is a good one because it has given us targets to work towards. Because when it's easy to just make declarations without set targets. But when you have target dates, it gives you an opportunity to work towards achieving those targets. So we are indeed grateful for this opportunity. I'll take the message back to our head of service, who will in turn take it back to His Excellency. And because he was one of us, we are hoping that we will get approvals for all the things that we need to do to meet these targets. I once again thank the DG for putting this training together, and especially the Edo State government here represented by the head of service for being good hosts to us. Thank you so much. You fed us so much. I'm sure some of us have added extra kilos that we need to shed when we go home. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Akwa Ibom.
Thank you so much for having me here. I, as a person, as head of service of Akwa Ibom State, would have missed a lot if I did not attend these retreats. It's quite established in my mind where we are now in Akwa Ibom State as far as the digitalization of processes and services in Akwa Ibom State, and where we ought to be. The gap is quite clear in my mind now, and it's quite enormous. And I would take the lessons learned here, the experience of Edo State. I want to say that we started digitalization in Akwa Ibom State about the same time when Edo State started, and I've gone quite far. And I will be going back to see how we can develop to get to where they are today. I want to appreciate Edo State government's investment in public service is quite enormous. And this comes with the interest that His Excellency the Governor here has in the public servants. I want to also appreciate the DG of Breast Commission. They follow up to ensure that we are here for this very important retreat. The resource persons that have been brought in and everything, the welfare package and all that has been quite interesting and quite beneficial. Let me also thank my colleague, the head of service of Edo State, for sharing knowledge with us. Some other people who have chosen not to be interested in other states coming up to level with them, but they are it's been so open to us and share all that he has here. Thank you, head of service, for this. Let me also appreciate all the participants. You have been quite active participants in this retreat. Thanks so much for having me.
Representative of the Delta State Head of Service.
Thank you very much. Firstly, I have to, on behalf of my head of service, express very deep gratitude and appreciation to Breast Commission, headed by Your Excellency, Ambassador Keshi, and at the same time, Edo State Government, for this great innovation. No doubt, these few days have been a learning process for my state, and I also know that there is a lot we can bring to the table. And I also appreciate that it should be rotational within the states in the South-South. So at that time, we also have the opportunity to play host. The papers presented. We have the resource, what's it called? That resource. It's a very beautiful place that the governor has just put in place for us. Leisure castles, thereabouts, leisure resorts. So I also have learned a lot from the seminar papers presented by the likes of Orosai. We always look forward to see him, we've read a lot about him. And then Joe Abba, his paper is excellent. And then the head of service of Edo State. In fact, from beginning to the end, we enjoyed his lecture. Very action-packed, very incisive. And we like this collaboration to continue. And I believe that the public servants are better off with this kind of exposure. Development is a continuous process. And wherever you have the opportunity to come together like this, it's always a learning process. I want to thank you for this wonderful opportunity. And we're taking this back to His Excellency Governor of Delta State, His Sheriff Francis Oborowori JP, believing that he will set the pace for Delta public service as he has been doing since the inception of his administration. Thank you very much, sir, and God bless us all.
Our host, Edo State.
Thank you, sir. Your Excellency, Ambassador Keshi, Director General of the Breast Commission and his dear wife, my colleagues from the Breast States, our colleagues from, Breast States, my people in Edo State Public Service, I'd like to express our appreciation and gratitude of Edo State and the government of Edo State to all of you for finding time to be here. Be with us these 3 days. It's been a very wonderful experience. One of the statements I made when I welcomed you on Wednesday was that the taste of the pudding is in the eating. We have eaten the pudding. I suppose. We have eaten the pudding, and I suppose we have experienced the taste. I was a bit scared when Mother mentioned that we fed them very well. I thought she was going to say that they were fed up. But thank God it didn't go that way. So I'm very happy. It's been a wonderful opportunity to discuss issues that are common to us, particularly with respect to the public service, the growth and development service. And there have been a lot of learnings from this. It's been symbiotic. We have learned from you, and I'm sure you have learned a few things from us. But going back to our different states, if we do not put the learnings to use, then it would mean that these 3 days have been wasted. I want to believe that that's not why we left our different states to come here. If at the end of 2 years, the commitment that we have given here before everyone, we're not able to do our best to ensure that even if we're not able to achieve everything, but at least we're able to achieve most of it. Someone said, if you want to fall on the stars, you aim for the sun. So that if you don't get as far as the sun, you can fall on any of the stars, or at least the moon. So we have aimed for the sun with this declaration. We may not get to the sun, we hope we'll get to the sun, but we'll at least fall in any of the stars. So I want to believe that these lessons that we've learned here will help us grow and develop our different public services. I want to particularly thank the Brace Commission under the very able leadership of Ambassador Keshi, Director General, conversing on this issue. It's been a very interesting conversation. I've been very excited about this program, and my excitement has not been misplaced at all over the past 3 days. We must also thank our sister in Wahe, Director General of JUPSA. She has been, and I say this with a sense of responsibility, she has been an excellent addition to the workforce of the civil and public service. And she has led the line so well as far as this JUPSA, this academy is concerned, and has assisted us. Her team has been very much pivotal to the growth and development of the civil and public service that we've achieved since she has been here. So thank you very, very much. I must also thank the Director General, Ogaisa Aremu, for finding time to come. When I spoke with you, honestly, I was a bit skeptical. But thank you, sir. You abandoned everything to be here. Thank you also, now in absentia, to His Excellency, the former governor of Edo State, Chief Odigi Oyegu. As I said earlier, this academy is deservedly named after him. Thank you also to Joaba. Thank you also to Professor Laokba for the conversation with all of them. Am I leaving anyone out? Okay. And then for all of you, particularly the best workforce in Nigeria. I'm sorry I'm saying it. Edo State. Don't mind you, my colleagues, don't mind you. They have been wonderful. As I said earlier, if they didn't support what we have done, no matter how intentional, no matter how deliberate we have been, without their support, we would not have achieved anything. So thank you. As you go back, it's our prayer that God Almighty, who brought you here safely, will take you back to your respective homes and states safely in the mighty name of Jesus. Thank you, and God bless you.
It is now left for me to also say thank you. And First, I want to say to the head of service of Edo State that what you said, I agree with you. I've been coming in and out of Edo State for quite some time, and I agree with you with the best workforce. Just to assure you that Kola Wole is not here to push back. Sorry, did you hear what I said? I said Kola Wole is not here to push back on that statement. But no, let me start first of all so by recognizing and thanking you, sir, for joining us here today, and to say that I appreciated your lecture. You know, every day, events like this, you learn new things. I've always learned of labor relations. But quite frankly, nobody has ever told me that, one, you have to teach people about labor relations, or nobody has actually told us the importance of it. Because all we know is that, oh, labor, I mean, they are going on strike, they are doing this and so on. But it was revealing that actually you needed to, you know, learn a lot about labor relations and how to treat and manage labor issues. And I sincerely hope, as you did say, that it will be necessary to also strike a deal so that to bring people to your institute to also learn some of these things, because managing labor relations in, you know, it's very important, particularly now that the labor force is increasing all over the place. But I want to thank you for finding time to be here with us and spending the whole day with us. And for me, it's nice to see you again, and thank you so much for coming here. To all the heads of service. Okay. We've been in this whole state with the chairman of the local government, and we've never actually mentioned him. You see, this is how you guys in this state marginalize local governments. And it's only taking their funds. You don't even recognize them when they come to events, you know. You know. So, sir, we thank you for being here. We actually believe, in fact, I think 2 years ago, we're actually going to have something like this for the local government chairman, because we thought that it was very important to work with the local government as well, you know, but we couldn't do that. So I sincerely hope that somewhere in the near future, we'll be able to do that. To the heads of service from the region, I want to thank each and every one of you for being here. I hope, as the Edo head of service has said, you are going home, and this retreat will be meaningless if you do not translate, put into practice some of the things you have picked up, you know, at this 3-day retreat. As I said earlier this morning, perhaps for me the most important thing, and I'll be glad to hear that you did a very powerful memo to your leaders, and let it be. I'll say this to you all. If there is any head of state that I know in this country that is very, very proud of his civil servant, it's General Gawan. If you meet General Gawan and you just introduce yourself as a permanent secretary, General Gawan will just go ahead and tell you how the permanent secretaries helped him to be successful, and the work and the advice that the permanent secretaries, you know, gave to him. Perhaps many of you might actually not know that the major reason for the overthrow of General Gawan was the fact that the senior military officers felt that they were being relegated, and that the head of state was depending too much on the permanent secretaries, who were at that time called super PAMSEC. And that was why immediately the new regime came. What was their first action? They retired all the super permanent secretaries. But guess what? And here is the irony of life. One of those who took that decision to retire permanent secretary, a super permanent secretary, and almost all the permanent secretaries at that time, Olusegun Obasanjo, when he came back as head of state, he organized retreats for the civil service because of the notes he has received about the declining nature of the about the civil service. What did OBJ do? The same people he retired were the people he called to come and educate the new people. What an irony of life. So what am I trying to say? That you have a role to play. You are the bedrock. You are the engine of government. And I think he said it very well. If an engine is not strong enough, it cannot go anywhere. And you need to constantly ensure that your engine is in a very good condition. So I sincerely hope that permanent secretaries will also continue to work with your heads of service and help push for changes that will make not just Edo State, but the region's civil service the best in this country. I wish you all the very best as you all travel back home, but we cannot end this without paying tribute to the governor himself. Since your governor became the chairman of the Brace Commission, the Brace Commission is enjoying a new lease of life. It's really been, and that's the honest truth. You know, if we'd had this kind of push that is being given us, I think the last time we actually had such encouragement was under Larry Moke. You know, but since he became chairman, within this very short space, he has actually tried to push the commission. So, head of service, please, through you, we want to express our thanks and gratitude to him and to the government and the people and the lovely people of Edo State. And we look forward that maybe in another 2 years, we'll be back here to review what we have done. I want to beg each and every one of you, let us not be like the United Nations folks. It was because the Millennium Development Goal was not achieved that we have a sustainable development goal. And as things are going now, that itself might not be, nations, because very few nations, particularly in this part of the world, is focusing on it. But let's do our best to ensure that when we do meet here in about 2 years' time, to look at what we have done since our first meeting in Benin, we will have a lot to celebrate. And on that note, I say thank you. God bless each of you and support.
What an amazing retreat this has been. Once again, let's put our hands together for all.
Shall be a symbol that truth and justice reign. This we count as gain to children without stay. All creation transmits our one request to build a nation where no man is oppressed, and so with peace and plenty, Nigeria may be blessed. Ancient sea is calling, all my sons and daughters of the land. The king of the sea is marching, stand apart to the pride of the land. The founding fathers of labor, and our time to serve is now. The glory of the new regulations will forever be our uniform. Yes, strong and wise of Nigeria, beautiful. Yes, sing over you, your land, people trees to be. Our churches are melting.
Thank you very much. Do have a great trip back to your respective states, and God bless you.